How many private jets could you buy with Elon Musk's fortune? Or how many waterfront mansions in the Bosphorus could you own with MrBeast's weekly income? What does it really take to change the world? Is it a single moment of genius? A perfect idea? Or is it something much, much harder? We see the titans of our world, the billionaires launching us to the stars, putting a computer on every desk, connecting billions of us online, and completely redefining entertainment, and we just assume they had a straight shot to the top. But the real story is so much more shocking than that. Before Elon Musk was worth over $200 billion, he was sleeping on a couch in his own office, completely broke, and watching his two companies, Tesla and SpaceX, literally go up in flames. Back in 2008, he was down to his last chance, one final rocket launch. And if it failed, he would lose everything. Today, he's launching humanity toward the stars. But the story of how he almost didn't make it is one the world almost never knew. In this video, we're pulling back the curtain on the untold stories of struggle from some of the world's most successful people, from Elon Musk's brush with total bankruptcy, to the dot-com bomb that almost erased Jeff Bezos, to the high-stakes bluff that launched Bill Gates, and the years MrBeast spent in total obscurity. This is what it actually takes to go from broke to billionaire. The name Elon Musk today means incredible wealth and ambition, with a net worth that often floats above $200 billion. But to understand how he built his empire, you have to understand the moment it all nearly turned to dust. Musk's story started far from Silicon Valley in South Africa. A tough childhood and relentless bullying helped build an intense sense of determination. After moving to North America, he found early success, co-founding Zip2 and then X.com, which merged with a competitor to become PayPal. When eBay bought PayPal, Musk walked away with a fortune of over $175 million. For almost anyone, that would be the end of the story. For Musk, it was just the starting line. He took the vast majority of his winnings and made a bet that looked completely insane to everyone around him. He sank $100 million into SpaceX, a company with the wild goal of making humans a multi-planetary species, and poured the rest into Tesla, an electric car company at a time when gasoline was king. This wasn't just a risk, it was a countdown to a complete disaster. The year 2008 became what Musk himself called the worst year of my life. The global financial crisis was crushing the auto industry, and Tesla was hemorrhaging cash. At the same time, SpaceX's first 3 rocket launches had all ended in spectacular failure. 3 giant fireballs that were Musk's entire fortune disappearing right before his eyes. He was out of money. He was going through a divorce and had to borrow cash from friends just to pay his living expenses. He faced a horrifying choice: split the last of his money between his 2 dying companies, or kill one to give the other a tiny chance of survival. He chose to try and save both, a decision that nearly destroyed everything. Then at the last possible second, a breakthrough. On September 28, 2008, with just enough cash for one last try, SpaceX launched its 4th Falcon 1 rocket. This time it didn't explode. It actually reached orbit, a stunning success that proved his technology worked. A couple of months later, NASA awarded SpaceX a life-saving $1.6 billion contract to resupply the International Space Station. Then on Christmas Eve of 2008, Musk pulled together the final funding necessary to save Tesla from bankruptcy, preventing payroll from bouncing just 2 days later. It was a comeback story fueled by pure, relentless grit. While Musk was battling gravity, another future giant was fighting for his life in the digital world. Jeff Bezos, the man behind Amazon, has a net worth of over $200 billion today, but his empire was also built right on the edge of a cliff. His beginnings were surprisingly humble. He was raised by his teenage mom and his stepfather, and even spent a summer working the grill at McDonald's. He wasn't the polished CEO we see today. His journey started with a wild idea. In 1994, Bezos was a senior vice president at a big-shot Wall Street hedge fund. He was successful and had a safe, lucrative career ahead of him, but he saw something most people didn't. The internet was growing at 2,300% a year. He came up with what he called the regret minimization framework. He figured he would regret not trying to build something way more than he would ever regret failing. So he quit his job, left his bonus on the table, and drove across the country to Seattle to start an online bookstore out of his garage. The idea was so strange at the time that his own parents were nervous about investing their life savings into their son's crazy plan. Amazon launched on July 16, 1995. In those first days, Bezos and his tiny team worked on desks made from cheap doors they bought at Home Depot, a perfect symbol of the scrappy mindset they needed to survive. But the company's real test was still to come. In the late 90s, the dot-com bubble was raging, and Amazon stock, despite the company not making any profit, shot through the roof. Then in 2000, the bubble burst. Thousands of internet companies vanished almost overnight. Critics loved calling Amazon Amazon.bomb, and analysts predicted it would be next. The company's stock price cratered by over 90%, and Bezos had to lay off 15% of his employees. He was bleeding money and facing huge pressure from investors who thought his big vision was a total failure. But while everyone else panicked, Bezos got focused. He cut costs ruthlessly, brought the company's attention back to its core products, and became obsessed with customer service and efficiency. It was a brutal, disciplined grind, and it worked. Amazon survived, and in the last quarter of 2001, it posted its first ever profitable quarter. It wasn't much, but it was proof. Proof that the gamble he made in his garage wasn't just a gamble after all, it was the future. Before he became a global philanthropist, Bill Gates was a laser-focused programmer who made one of the riskiest bets in tech history. His vision of a computer on every desk and in every home built an empire. But it started with a gamble that could have ended Microsoft before it even truly began. Gates was a Harvard dropout who, along with his friend Paul Allen, had already seen a taste of failure. Their first company, Trafo Data, which aimed to analyze traffic data, was a good idea with a flawed business model that ultimately lost money. But that early failure taught them critical lessons. In 1975, they saw an opportunity that would change everything. The M-ites Altair 8800, one of the world's first personal computers. They called M-ites and made a bold claim. They had a working version of the programming language BASIC for the new computer. In reality, they had nothing. It was a complete bluff to gauge interest. When the president of M-ites agreed to a demonstration in a few weeks, the scramble was on. Working day and night, they developed the software on Harvard's computers, with Allen even writing the final bit of code on the plane to the meeting. It worked, and Microsoft was born. But their biggest gamble was yet to come. In 1980, the titan of the industry, IBM, approached them to create an operating system for its new personal computer. Microsoft didn't make operating systems. Gates actually sent IBM to another company first. But when that deal fell through, IBM came back to him. Instead of admitting he didn't have a product, Gates made a world-changing decision. He promised IBM an operating system he didn't own. He then quickly purchased an existing quick and dirty operating system, QDOS, from a Seattle programmer for around $50,000, adapted it, and renamed it MS-DOS. The masterstroke was in the deal itself. Gates convinced IBM to let Microsoft retain the rights to license MS-DOS to other computer manufacturers. When the IBM PC became a massive success and other companies cloned it, Microsoft was there to sell the OS to every single one. That one high-stakes bluff and brilliant negotiation turned a small software company into a global powerhouse. These stories of near disaster are what really define success. Mark Zuckerberg didn't set out to become one of the richest men in the world. He just wanted to build something cool. But that cool thing would end up rewriting how nearly 3 billion people connect, communicate, and consume information. It all started in a Harvard dorm room in 2004. Zuckerberg, along with a few classmates, launched the Facebook as a college-only social networking site. It spread like wildfire. But almost immediately, the controversy began. Questions swirled around whether he had stolen the idea from classmates, an accusation that would eventually lead to a lawsuit and a massive settlement. But legal battles weren't the only pressure. As Facebook grew, Zuckerberg had to learn how to lead a rapidly scaling company while facing massive scrutiny. Investors wanted returns, users demanded features, and regulators began circling. Yet, he held tightly to his vision. One of the most pivotal moments came in 2006 when Yahoo offered to buy Facebook for $1 billion. At the time, Facebook was making almost no profit. Even some of Zuckerberg's closest advisors urged him to sell, but he refused. He believed Facebook's potential was far greater than anyone could see. That bold decision, one that could have cost him everything, ended up shaping the future of the internet. Facebook eventually went public in 2012, and despite a shaky IPO, its dominance only grew. Zuckerberg's focus shifted from growth to control, acquiring Instagram for $1 billion in 2012 and WhatsApp for $19 billion in 2014. These deals, which looked absurd at the time, turned out to be strategic masterstrokes that helped Facebook maintain its grip on global communication. But it hasn't all been smooth sailing. From the Cambridge Analytica scandal to privacy lawsuits, Zuckerberg has faced intense criticism. Some call him the architect of our digital addiction. Others credit him with giving billions a voice. Through it all, he's evolved from a hoodie-wearing coder to a calculated CEO betting billions on the metaverse. Today, Mark Zuckerberg's net worth sits around $100 billion. And while he's not the richest person on Earth, he may be the most influential in shaping how the modern world communicates. If these journeys are blowing your mind, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because we're about to dive into a totally new kind of empire, and you won't want to miss it. While Musk, Bezos, and Gates were conquering tech and commerce, a new kind of mogul was being built online. Jimmy Donaldson, who the world knows as MrBeast, has created a media empire with an estimated net worth of over $500 million. But his rise was anything but an overnight success. Growing up in North Carolina, Jimmy was a shy kid who started his first YouTube channel back in 2012 when he was just 13. For years, he completely struggled. His first videos were mostly about video games, made on a hand-me-down computer, and got almost no views. He faced doubt from everyone, including his own mom, who basically gave him an ultimatum. Make this YouTube thing work, or go get a normal job. He even went to college for a semester before dropping out, a huge risk for a guy making next to no money. Most people would have quit, but Jimmy was different. He didn't just make videos. He studied YouTube like a scientist. He would analyze what made videos go viral. He would break down thumbnail designs, and he spent years grinding away in obscurity just to master the craft. He was driven by one simple but powerful idea. If I just do it long enough, eventually it'll click. His aha moment came when he switched from making standard videos to doing insane high-effort stunts. In January 2017, he uploaded a video of himself counting to 100,000. It took him 40 hours, was incredibly boring to film, but it went viral and became his big break. That was his version of a huge risk, a massive investment of his time and energy on a weird idea that could have easily gone nowhere. From there, he found his signature style, giving away insane amounts of money. What looked like just throwing cash around was actually a brilliant business strategy. He reinvested every single dollar he made right back into making the next video bigger and better. In the early days, that meant he was living super frugally while giving away thousands of dollars, a model that looked financially insane. He was building a brand on generosity and spectacle, creating a cycle of success. The bigger the stunts, the more views he got. The more views he got, the more money he had to reinvest. His breakthrough wasn't just a single video, but the creation of a whole new genre on YouTube. He turned philanthropy into must-see entertainment, and by doing that, built a massively loyal global audience. Today, MrBeast is way more than a YouTuber. He's a businessman with huge companies like Feastables and MrBeast Burger, with a massive team behind him. He didn't just find success on YouTube, he completely changed the platform. 4 different empires, 4 different journeys, but one powerful lesson that ties them all together. The path from broke to billionaire isn't paved with easy wins. It's forged in moments of near total failure. Elon Musk had to watch his rockets explode and scrape together money on Christmas Eve just to keep Tesla alive. Jeff Bezos had to steer Amazon through the dot-com apocalypse when the world was calling his company a joke. Bill Gates had to bluff his way into the deal of a century, betting his entire company on an operating system he didn't even own. And MrBeast had to grind for years with nobody watching, facing doubt from everyone he knew, before he finally cracked the code. Their stories teach us that the most important ingredient for massive success isn't a perfect idea or a flawless business plan. It's resilience. It's the absolute refusal to quit when failure seems guaranteed. The willingness to risk it all for a vision that nobody else sees, and the deep belief that the struggle itself is what leads you forward. Their greatest triumphs were born directly out of their moments of greatest despair. What did you think of these stories? Let us know in the comments below which entrepreneur's journey shocked you the most. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss another look behind the curtain of success. Thanks for watching.